Ever played a game and thought, I could make something like this? Guess what? You totally can. Creating your own game is like writing a story, painting a picture, and composing a song all rolled into one awesome experience. It's about bringing your imagination to life. One line of code, one pixel, one sound effect at a time. And the best part, you don't need to be a coding wizard or a digital art guru to get started. This guide will be your trusty sidekick, leading you step by step through the exciting world of game development. So grab your metaphorical sword and shield, or maybe just a notebook and pen, and let's embark on this epic quest together. Every amazing game starts with a simple idea. What kind of world do you want to create? What challenges will your players face? What kind of story will they experience? Don't be afraid to let your imagination run wild here. Jot down any ideas that pop into your head, no matter how silly or far-fetched they might seem. Think about the games you love to play. What makes them so engaging? What elements could you borrow or twist to create something new and exciting? Remember, even the most epic adventures start with a single step. Maybe you want to create a whimsical puzzle game where you guide a friendly blob through a maze of colorful obstacles. Or perhaps you're drawn to the thrill of a fast-paced action game where players battle robots in a futuristic cityscape. Don't be afraid to start small. Your first game doesn't have to be a sprawling epic. Sometimes the simplest ideas can be the most fun to develop and play. The most important thing is to choose an idea that you're passionate about, something that you'll be excited to work on even when the going gets tough, because trust me, there will be moments. Now that you've got a killer game idea brewing, it's time to give it some structure. Think of it like creating a blueprint for your game. You don't need fancy software for this stage. A notebook, some pencils, and your trusty brain are all you need. Start by sketching out the basic gameplay. What are the main mechanics? How will players interact with the game world? What are the goals and objectives? Sketch out some level ideas. Maybe there are buttons to activate platforms, enemies to avoid, and keys to collect. Remember, this is your game, so don't be afraid to experiment and break the mold. With a solid design in hand, it's time to enter the world of game development tools. Don't worry, it's not as intimidating as it sounds. Game engines are like magical toolboxes packed with everything you need to bring your digital creations to life. There are many fantastic game engines out there, each with its own strengths and learning curves. For beginners, I recommend starting with a user-friendly engine like GameMaker Studio, Unity, or Godot. These engines offer intuitive interfaces, drag-and-drop functionality, and tons of resources to guide you along the way. Think of choosing an engine like picking the right paintbrush for your masterpiece. Do you prefer a simple brush for bold strokes, or a more intricate one for detailed work? Each engine has its own feel, so experiment with a few and see which one clicks with your creative style. Don't be afraid to dive into tutorials and online communities. The game development community is incredibly welcoming and supportive, and you'll find a wealth of knowledge and inspiration at your fingertips. Remember, you don't have to become a coding ninja overnight. Start with the basics and gradually expand your skills as you go. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty coding. But before you run for the hills, hear me out. Coding is like learning a new language. It might seem daunting at first, but with practice and patience, you'll be amazed at what you can create. Most game engines use languages like C# for Unity or GDScript for Godot. These languages are designed to be relatively beginner-friendly and come with tons of documentation and tutorials. Start with the basics. Learn how to move objects, display text, and trigger simple actions. Let's go back to our blob friend. Imagine writing a few lines of code that make the blob move left or right when you press a key. That's it. You've brought your creation to life with code. It's like magic, but with less wand waving and more keyboard tapping. As you gain confidence, you can delve into more advanced concepts like collision detection, making sure your blob doesn't walk through walls, artificial intelligence, giving your enemies some brains, and much more. Remember, coding is a journey, not a sprint. Take your time, celebrate small victories, and don't be afraid to ask for help along the way. Congratulations, you've officially entered the world of playtesting. This is where you get to wear your gamer hat and put your creation through its paces. Testing is crucial for identifying bugs, balancing gameplay, and ensuring that your game is as fun and engaging as possible. Gather your bravest friends and family members, or unsuspecting roommates, and let them loose in your game world. Encourage them to be brutally honest with their feedback. Is the game too hard? Too easy? Are there any parts that are frustrating or confusing? Don't take their feedback personally. Remember, they're helping you make your game even better. Pay close attention to their reactions. Where do they get stuck? What do they enjoy the most? Use their feedback to tweak and refine your game until it shines. Testing isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process that should continue throughout your game's development. As you add new features, levels, or mechanics, be sure to test them thoroughly to ensure that everything works as intended and that the overall experience is polished and enjoyable. You've poured your heart and soul, and probably a few late-night coding sessions, into your game. Now it's time to polish it to a brilliant shine. Add the finishing touches to make your game stand out. Think about the visual style of your game. Are you going for a pixel art aesthetic, a realistic look, or something in between? Sound effects and music can breathe life into your game world. Don't underestimate the power of a good user interface. Polishing your game is all about paying attention to the details. Section 7. Sharing your creation, launching your game into the world. Get ready to release your masterpiece into the wild. This is the moment you've been waiting for. The chance to share your creation with the world and see players experience the world you've brought to life. There are many platforms where you can launch your game, each with its own audience and submission process. Popular options include Steam for PC games, itch.io for indie games, the App Store for iOS games, and Google Play for Android games. Before you hit that publish button, take some time to create a compelling game page. This is your chance to make a great first impression and convince players to give your game a try. Include eye-catching screenshots, a captivating game description, and maybe even a trailer to showcase your game's unique features. Don't be afraid to promote your game on social media, forums, and within your own network. Share your excitement, engage with potential players, and spread the word about your awesome creation. Section 8. Feedback. The breakfast of champions and game developers. Congratulations on launching your game. Now it's time to brace yourself for the tidal wave of feedback. Okay, it probably won't be a tidal wave, but you're bound to receive comments, reviews, and suggestions from players. Embrace feedback with open arms. It's invaluable for understanding how players experience your game and identifying areas for improvement. Pay attention to common themes in the feedback you receive. Are players getting stuck at a particular point? Are there any technical issues that need addressing? Don't take negative feedback personally. Remember, players are offering their opinions because they want your game to be the best it can be. Use their feedback as an opportunity to learn and grow as a game developer. Consider releasing updates to your game based on the feedback you receive. This shows players that you're listening and that you're committed to delivering the best possible gaming experience. Section 9. Leveling up, the never-ending quest for improvement. The journey of a game developer is a never-ending quest for improvement. There's always something new to learn, a new skill to master, or a new challenge to conquer. Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone and experiment with new game engines, genres, or mechanics. The more you experiment, the more you'll learn and grow as a game developer. Attend game jams, participate in online game development communities, and connect with other developers. The game development community is incredibly welcoming and supportive, and you'll find a wealth of knowledge and inspiration from your fellow developers. Remember, game development is a marathon, not a sprint. Take your time, celebrate your accomplishments, and never stop learning and growing. Section 10. You did it, celebrating your achievement and planning your next move. Take a moment to pat yourself on the back. You did it. You took an idea from a spark of inspiration to a fully realized game. That's something to be incredibly proud of. Celebrate your achievement. Share your game with friends and family. Treat yourself to something nice and bask in the glow of your accomplishment. You've earned it. Now, what's next? Are you ready to dive into another game development adventure? Do you want to revisit your first game and add new features or levels? The possibilities are endless. Remember, the most important thing is to keep creating, keep experimenting, and keep having fun. The world of game development is your oyster, so go forth and make some awesome games.